Hello and welcome to the Magical Witchy World TV. I am Star Ravenhork.
And welcome. There, can you see
Rhonda,
me
I
and
said
hear me okay?
hi. I didn't hear you after I introduced myself, but I didn't hear you introduce yourself. Sorry.
Welcome, everyone. Oh, see, this is how slow my signal is right now tonight. Sorry, everyone. I'm Rhonda Allen. Welcome to Magickal.
All right. Okay. So we apologize already for the technology because we have a little bit of a delay. All righty. Let's go ahead with the show. Hello and welcome, Laura. Glad to see you here tonight with us.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Awesome. Welcome to the Magical Witchy World TV. So, Rhonda, let's introduce Laura. Rhonda? Oh, sorry. I'm not sure if you're hearing me. Rhonda, can you hear me?
Oh, I hope everyone can hear me. Well, I can see you guys. I would like to go ahead and welcome Laura Perry. Star, you can hear me, but I can hear you guys fine.
Okay, good, good, good. We can hear you. We can hear you. We just,
Welcome
okay, so I
everyone
wanted you
to
to
the
go ahead and introduce
show.
Laura.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, welcome, Laura. Thank you so much. And again, I apologize. I don't know why my let me go ahead and go through your bio so we can introduce you to everyone who will be following us tonight. Laura Perry is a priest and creator who works magic words, paint, ink, music, textiles, and herbs. She is the founder of Ariadne's Tribe, an inclusive Minoan spirituality tradition. Her nonfiction include Labrys and Horns, an introduction to modern Minoan paganism, which is the official guidebook to tribe spirituality. She has also Ariadne's Thread, awakening the wonders of the ancient Minoans in our modern book, the Minoan Tarot, the Wiccan Wellness Book, and Spellcraft. Her novels include the Minoan historical romance Leap, a love story, the Minoan historical novel Last Priestess of Malia, the urban fantasy The Bed, and the mystical adventure tale of Jaguar Sky. Her articles have appeared in Spiral Nature, The Magical Times, Indie Shaman, Sage Woman, and Pagan Dawn magazines, among others. When she's not busy drawing, writing, or leading rituals, and workshops, you can probably find her digging in the garden or giving a living history demonstration at a local historical site. And you can always find her at her website, lauraperryauthor.com.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you being here.
Yes, yes, yes. So we've been waiting to have this wonderful conversation with you about just regular Q&A things regarding whatever you call yourself or whomever you deem yourself to be. So what we kind of do is one of the questions we ask at first is because if over the years you kind of refer to yourself as different things,
Right.
and then as the time goes by, you kind of say, okay, you know what, I am this, or maybe you've always been calling yourself that. Who knows? But we wanted to kind of get a little bit of an arc of that, and in terms of what you called yourself and why, and what you call, what do you call yourself right now? And also, if you can also let us know, where are you hailing from right now in the world?
Well, I am coming to you live from just outside Atlanta, Georgia, USA.
Awesome. Awesome.
Um, what do I call myself and why? Okay, so the bio that you just read is actually the first part of it is something that I wrote um, after a prompt from some friends in the Witch Lit writing group on Facebook. Three writer friends and I founded the group, and it's people who write witchy stuff and people who like to read witchy stuff. And
Cool.
we were talking about um, everybody's bios tend to sound the same, right? And it's so hard where it's uncomfortable to talk about yourself to start with, to just kind of
Yeah.
throw it out there. Here's what I am. Listen to how successful I am. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of awkward and uncomfortable. And so
Yeah.
they gave me the challenge to come up with a description of myself that encapsulated who I am as well as what I do.
Okay.
And that's when I came up with, and I went through the whole list, and crossed stuff off
Hmm.
and went back to things. And eventually I kept coming back to priestess and creator, because those are the two things that I feel like it's not just what I do, it's who I
Mhm.
am.
Okay.
And then I thought,
Beautiful.
but what do I do with those things? And the the intersection of the two, the sacred part and the creative part, which I guess creativity is sacred in its own way, right? But the
Yes.
intersection of the two to me was the making of magic in one way or another. So, there's magic in spellcraft and in ritual and in that kind of thing, but there's also magic in painting and drawing and writing and making music
Yeah.
and spinning and weaving and crocheting and knitting. So um,
Yeah.
I really I found myself reflecting on, where is the magic in my life, and that's where I came up with that.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Sounds great. So do you call yourself Wiccan or a
Yeah.
witch, or like outside of the priestess and creator?
um, that's a good question.
That
Um,
that's the part about evolving that we meant in terms of
Yeah, well, I am Wiccan. That was my gateway drug into the pagan community, as it is for so many people. Um,
Mhm. So many. Yeah.
and I guess I'm also a witch. I'm also a spirit worker. I prefer not. I'm not real comfortable using the term shaman because the culture that it belongs to is still very much alive and has asked people not to use it. And I think the term spirit worker gets across the idea of, what is actually done.
Mhm.
Um, I'm
Yes.
I grew up in modern American culture, which does not have its own word for that kind of thing, so we had to kind of make one up.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I'm all of those different things,
Sounds
depending
good.
on what I'm doing. It's kind of like how in my mundane life, I'm an editor and a writer, and I'm also a cook and a house cleaner,
Right.
and all this. So it's, to
Right.
me, they're sort of they're specific descriptions of kinds of stuff that I do.
Okay,
Excellent.
sounds great. Thank
So
you. Yeah.
and so now you've teased a little bit about how you well, you've explained to us how you've identified. Question now, what brought you into this world, or when was that realization that this is who I am? What came about, and how did it come about?
Um, well, I've always been weird. Um,
Yeah, get it?
um, I spent a fair amount of my early childhood on our family farm where I was allowed to roam fairly freely in the woods and just generally outdoors. And
Mm,
so that certainly encouraged that kind of thing. But I don't think I didn't honestly know that there was a community of people out there who were weird like me until I was a young
mm,
adult. Um, in high school, I got really into that was where I first connected with the Minoans and ancient Egypt and the ancient Celts. And so yeah, it wasn't until I was in, I guess, my early to mid 20s that I discovered the local pagan community and realized, oh my gosh, there's actually a whole huge population of people out there who are weird in exactly the same way I am, and it's marvelous. And so, yeah,
Okay, that's
fabulous.
awesome. Yes, and it's always so great when you discover those things, right?
That's awesome.
yes, yes.
Um, okay. So I'm gonna ask you another question, but
Right.
again, this is just from your point of view, not from anyone else.
Okay.
What does it mean to be a witch or Wiccan as you see it?
Okay, so to me, those are two different things.
Okay.
Um, because Wicca is a specific named spiritual tradition. It has practices, rules, dogma, um, and there are Wiccans who don't consider themselves to be witches, and there are witches who don't consider themselves to be Wiccan, or witches who are not Wiccan, who do not practice as spirituality. Um, so for me, I'm a third degree
Mhm.
Wiccan priestess, and so that means to me being Wiccan means that I have the initiations, I practice the ritual, um, and that kind of thing. But witch, um, to be a witch is like to be the magic. Um,
Mhm.
it's to see the magic in life and connect with it and do your very best
Mhm.
to let it flow through you and around you in a way that makes your life better and that hopefully also makes the lives of the people around you better too.
Right. Right. Okay. Sounds great. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Fabulous, fabulous. And you've been obviously, you've been world and moving in this world and studying and practicing and writing, producing in this world for some time now. How is this now? How are you living this? How is it a part of you at this point? How do you
There's
work? How is
virtually
magic right now?
um, there's virtually no way in which it isn't a part of my life at this point. I realized a few
Mhm.
years ago that I have my worldview has changed. I'm 58,
Mm,
and
mhm.
I I see everything so differently than I did when I first found the local pagan community in my 20s, right? Because then I thought that magic is a thing that you go somewhere and do using a specific set
Yes.
of tools and supplies and so that it it I felt like it had its own little compartment, its own little box that it went in my life,
Mhm.
along with all of the other activities that I did that were all in their own little boxes.
Mm.
Um, and I've really come to believe that magic is like the ultimate nature of the universe. And
Mhm.
there
Mhm.
is no way in which we are not um, immersed in it all the time. And
Absolutely.
so it's more,
Well
it's not
said.
so much, yeah, it's not so much that that I practice magic as that I do my best to be aware and mindful that that is the nature of the universe. And
Mhm.
so my intentions matter in
Okay.
everything that I do.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know, it's not just, I mean, I do spell work of various kinds, but it goes so far beyond that.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
Right. Right.
Awesome. And
Excellent.
this is
No,
a
I
great
love.
segue. I'm sorry, sweetie. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I just love the way you frame that. That it's just that there's no real separation, and that magic is that's the nature of the universe, and being attentive to what intentions we're bringing into whatever
Mm,
actions we're taking.
yeah.
Yeah, fabulous.
absolutely.
Love that.
And
Thank you.
it's a great
Sorry, what you saying,
segue.
Star?
Oh, sorry. Every time
Mhm.
I thought I'm hearing the lagging or something. Okay. So it's a great segue into asking you, from all of what you're saying, what do you consider is most important to you
Most important to me in,
in terms of the world, or the magical world that you've created for yourself, whether you're seeing yourself Wiccan or witch, whatever it is.
mhm.
What's Tell us about what's important to you.
Ah, it's important to me that I live my life in such a way that I leave the world a better place than I found it. Um, it's important to me that uh, that the example that I set for people is one of compassion and honesty and inclusivity. Um, it's important to me that it's important to me that I walk my talk. That if I say, you
Mhm.
know, if I say I'm going to do something, that I do it. That my values and my actions align, and that's I mean, that's a good idea in real life and just in material life in general, but especially from a magical perspective,
Mm,
because you have to have the energy that underlies your actions match,
Yeah.
what you're aiming for. So,
mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. That was beautifully said.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And part of what you were just speaking about goes to this next question, which is your relationship with community right now. So tell us about how you're working within community, locally or at the broader scale, virtually, global. So what is the work that you're interested in doing or are doing, or what's important to you about community right now?
um, well, Ariadne's tribe is my community, my main community at this point. Um, this is not anything that I ever expected to be doing. This is it. Just
Huh.
kind of, yeah. Um, I started the Minoan deities kind of tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You're going to be doing some things with us now." And I started a Facebook group because I felt all alone. Um, I didn't know
Mm.
about anybody
Mhm.
else who did Minoan stuff, and I wanted a little company, and so I thought maybe I'd find a few dozen people.
Yeah.
Um, 10 years later, we have 1,500 members,
Awesome.
and we're in 43 countries
Amazing.
around the world, and I don't know what I'm doing, but we're doing it.
That is
So,
That's
amazing.
awesome.
um,
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm the temple mom. That's we're not a hierarchical organization. There's no high priestess or anything like that.
Mhm.
So my official designation is temple mom. Um,
okay. All
I
right.
love it.
Sounds
and
great.
so
That is so awesome.
That is an
And it's
amazing
actually, go ahead.
I was just going to say that is an amazing community that created, that you've built, that you helped to bring together. You
Yeah.
facilitated the
Yeah.
union, and I think that's fabulous. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what would you like to see um, us as the community of the, I guess, the magical community, the pagan community, accomplish?
uh, besides kicking out all the alt-right people,
Hey, right? Oh my goodness.
yeah, we spend a lot of time filtering them out of our group.
So
Uh,
amazing. That part's
Mm,
amazing to me.
I would like to
yeah.
see more what you might call interfaith conversations
Mm,
um, within the pagan community. Um, there is a sense
mhm,
in which paganism, as an umbrella term, um, applies to a huge number of extremely different traditions and
Mm,
spiritual paths. And a lot of those people just
sure.
kind of don't talk to each other.
right.
Don't know, what the others are doing, and I really think that maybe a conversation could be had that
Mhm,
would allow for people to understand that we're all in this together and that we have more in common than we have different, um,
mhm,
and that maybe it would be a good idea for the pagan community as a whole, just despite our differences, or maybe because of them, because the differences might be something to celebrate, but as a whole, um, we could have a greater voice in the larger world
Mm,
if we had more
yeah.
understanding um, among ourselves.
right. Right. So you're basically saying an interfaith in the broader scheme of things with the rest of the world, or just around among pagans?
Well, I think it would need to start among pagans because
Yeah.
there are so many different groups and so many different kinds
Mhm,
of pagan spiritual traditions, um, and there's overlap among some of them, and then among some of them there
mhm,
is no overlap, and there is an extent that I have seen to which people kind of don't talk to each
Mm,
other.
right.
yes.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
That's
It's very
that's a
true.
whole other conversation there, because that to me is more, because I've never heard anyone say they'd like to see it necessarily as an interfaith among pagans, because then I would say it's more of an intertraditional kind of a thing, because basically everybody has formed their traditions and their rules with whatever it is, and ne'er the twain shall meet. And all the rules and
yeah,
dogma that they've applied to it without realizing and thinking that they're not. um, whereas in terms of interfaith, I guess I always think of it as, other, like Buddhism or Hinduism, or outside of the pagan as we know it tradition kind of a things. Um, and I'm really hoping that there is some of that too, because, and maybe you're right, maybe we need to do it first within our traditions, which I find kind of sometimes difficult, because I think a lot of them are very much like, you're not doing it the way we do it, so I don't want to come to that kind of a thing, which
yeah,
is kind of sad. Whereas I was lucky enough to be invited to an interfaith um, uh, community some years ago in New York, by a Hindu temple, and it had a Christian there, it had Buddhists there, it had everybody of that, and it was in a Hindu temple with Vishnu and a few others there, big giant statues. It was amazing. It was so
Oh.
amazing watching these ministers and everybody else get together with other things that are definitely not part of their lifestyle at all, and
Mm.
they were willing to accept that and go with it, and have this amazing thing inside of this, basically a pagan temple. But I know they don't consider it like that, or you know,
Right.
but you know what I mean. It was really nice to see that, and I have not seen that in since, other than that time with that group. And they had invited me to their thing, so it was really cool. So if they can do it, I know, like you said, it would be nice if with inter traditions that people would do that. But yeah, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing right
That's
there, right?
actually a top I yeah, that's a topic that has come up though in other shows. So we've had other guests make similar comments that the
Yeah, yeah,
communication needs to happen,
is not there.
and the
Yeah,
isolation, if you will, we need to kind of work through that and build
yeah,
bridges. Do you say it gives us more of a weight or establish what do you want to say? It gives us a larger voice on the larger scale, on the world stage. It just gives us a larger voice if we can at least have some communication, different
between us
traditions between
ourselves, right?
various
Yeah, you're right. You're
areas.
absolutely right.
Because yeah, that pagan umbrella is huge. It's huge. Having said that,
Yeah.
though, I want to bring us back to something that speaks specifically to the work that you're doing right now, and that is understanding up or what you're thinking about doing over the next, this new year, 2024. Any particular projects or anything that you're working?
Um, I am about halfway through a book which I started writing for the same reason that I wrote my last several ones, which is because the people in the tribe requested it. So um,
Oh,
we are yeah, we are creating modern Minoan myths.
Mm.
Um, Most of the the Minoans were a Bronze Age culture. They lived on the island of Crete, just south of Greece in the Mediterranean. And by about the year 1300 BCE, they were gone. Um,
mm, mm,
all of their cities were destroyed. Their culture was gone. And a little over a century ago, people started digging them back up and reconstructing their temples and their cities and
mhm,
being excited about them. But once their culture collapsed, their mythology also disappeared. Only tiny little
mm,
fragments of it survived into classical times. The Greek writers, wrote down a few things, changed a lot of things for their own purposes.
right.
Um, and so there's not a corpus of Minoan mythology the way there is for Greek or Roman or Egyptian or
Mm,
anything like that. And so we are having to create something ourselves using the fragments that survived, using dance
yeah.
ethnology. One of our board members is a dance ethnologist, and this is
Oh, that's
a
beautiful.
resource that I was totally unaware of before I met her. It's a fabulous resource.
Right.
Um, and honestly, just talking with the deities about how they want their stories told in the modern world.
Right.
Mhm.
That's brilliant. Awesome. That's
So that's
Beautiful.
great.
Excellent work.
that's
Fabulous.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great journey there.
It
Yeah,
is.
great journey.
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
So, with that being said, what events do you have coming up this year in 2024 that you think that you'd be at or would like to be at?
I will be doing a presentation at WitchCon in just like 2 weeks.
All right. Yes, yes,
Um,
yes. So, yeah, so we, yes.
and that will be just a sort of comprehensive introduction to Ariadne's tribe spirituality for anyone who's interested in it.
Awesome.
And then I will be at Mystic South in
Beautiful.
Atlanta this July. I have not heard back yet whether my two proposals were accepted, but I'm hoping to be running another ritual. We did our first public Minoan ritual at Mystic South last year, and it was a blast. So we're going to do, I hope, another one this year.
Oh,
And then I
fabulous.
also applied to present a paper about some interesting aspects of Minoan art that turn out to be not at all what we thought they were. So there's a secret to be um,
Unveiled.
divulged. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
That's so nice. Okay.
That is
so
that sounds very exciting. So plenty of things happening this year, and
Yes.
I'm excited about. I'm curious to hear what's going to happen with this news that's going to be released. Um, so we have your website scrolling across the screen, right, throughout the show at various points, so people know how to reach you at lauraperryauthor.com. Any other place that people should be able to find you at? Instagram?
yeah, I'm on all the social media. You can get to all of those from my website. There's one of those social bars at the bottom of every page. Click on all those. Um, if anyone is interested in the Minoan stuff, the website is ariadnestribe.com. And so we've got a whole bunch of information up about that there. And we have a Facebook group called Ariadne's Tribe. We're pretty easy to find.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure having you here with us tonight.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It was
It has been
lovely.
Absolutely.
awesome. I thank you so much for
Okay.
taking the time. Lots coming up.
Yes.
I'm really curious, and of course, being the tarot geek, as I'm going to have to because I don't have that yet, but I will be getting that. So much for being with us. And now, for everybody else, a word from our sponsors.
Yay. All right. Tonight is astrology time. So, we are going to go through your 2024 horoscope and how Aquarius season will affect each zodiac sign and possibly start a revolution, as well as cover the tarot card predictions for each zodiac sign.
This is
So,
going to be fun.
I know, right? So, here's what
Yes.
you can expect. According to your sun and or your rising sun, so many changes are going to be unfolding. 2024 holds much promise with many opportunities that will arrive, though many of you will have to let go of the past and be willing to embrace something new. It will be a most powerful year
Mm.
for so many reasons. First, we have in numerology, Each year is bestowed with something called a universal year number, and that signifies what you can look forward to in the new year. So, this single digit number is the summation of each number within the year. And in the case of 2024, that number is 8, because 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 adds up to 8. In numerology, the number 8 holds much promise as it is symbolically tied to manifestation, financial expansion, strength, and transformation. Most of you have spent a lot of time clearing away blockages and removing yourself from what is no longer meant for you during 2023. As again, we'll not count down the numbers. 2023 was 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, which added up to 7. And in numerology, the universal number of the 7 reflects spirituality, reflection, and inner work, which is in one reason why 2023 was a little bit difficult for a few people.
Mhm.
So luckily, it's paved the way though for the many blessings that will arrive during 2024. So don't underestimate the power that you hold in this coming year. The imagery and the symbolism associated with the major and minor arcana will be bringing to your attention to something important that you may not be aware of. And remember that when we speak of your yearly horoscope, keep in mind what the can you are in. And remember, we've gone through the cans with you guys before last year. 1, 2, or 3, and you will know best where you fit. So check out our past videos for those explanations. Go ahead, Miss Rhonda. Rhonda? Hmm. I'm not sure, but I think Rhonda may have frozen. Rhonda? Oh, okay. Are you good? Rhonda, are you hearing me? Oh, goodness. I'm not sure. I think Rhonda may be not hearing me. Rhonda? Sweetie, can you hear me? Okay. I will start with Aries then because I don't know if Rhonda can hear me or not. Okay. So I'm gonna do Rhonda's part then. Okay. So Aries, the Emperor card is what you're looking for. And I want you to really look at that card. You're stepping into a leadership position, but not just one of power and authority. The emperor indicates that you becoming a provider and a caretaker, someone that people in your social circle and community look up for guidance. And although this new role will require you to become more demanding and stricter, it will also ask you to lead with kindness and harmony and fairness. Rhonda, are you back?
Yes,
Rhonda?
I am.
Okay, good. I stopped at
Can you hear
fairness.
me?
I
I
began Aries and I stopped at fairness. You can continue now.
Okay. I apologize. You're assuming this role as a leader without putting people down, but uplifting those who reach out to you for advice. And Aries, your 2024 horoscope says you're becoming the leader you've always needed. This year is a big one for you. Get ready to make major strides toward your ultimate destiny because you will experience growth that could stretch across decades within the span of just 1 year. With Mars, your ruling planet, entering your 10th house of publicity and authority on January 4th, this just recently happened, lighting your fire for success, inspiring you to go harder than ever before. You will move toward your career and business goals at turbo speed. Your social connections will come in handy. from this past January 20th through to September 1st, as well as after November 19th, which is when Pluto in Aquarius reactivates your 11th house of global networking and community endeavors. So, Aries, you will discover or realize that you have the power to be a voice for the people. So, have no fear when accepting, excuse me, when accepting your newfound role as a revolutionary in your field. All your life, you've been searching for a mentor, but in 2024, you're realizing that the mentor you've always needed is yourself. On February 19th, the North Node in joined forces with Chiron, wounded healer, which will force you to let down your guard, open your heart, and embrace the empathy that proves just how deep your strength runs. By being honest about your feelings and standing up for yourself, you're becoming a healing force that will inspire all those who have the pleasure of meeting you. This comes with a warning: stay away from hands on healing. It will affect your body, mentally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. This year, you're realizing that you are both a fierce and unstoppable leader and an open hearted healer. You're continuing to realize who you want on your side and who you may be going up against. Then on March 25th, still talking Aries now, a lunar eclipse lights up your seventh house of allies and enemies. You'll learn just as much from your opponents as you are from your trusted partnerships. On April 8th, a total solar eclipse casts a shadow over your first house of self, further letting go of limiting beliefs about who you are, what you stand for, and what you're capable of. On April 20th, when Jupiter joins forces with Uranus in your second house of money and values, you will tap into a powerful stream of income. You might receive a hefty raise or discover a new way of bringing in more cash. That's a big thing. Once Mars enters, absolutely. Once Mars enters Aries on April 25th, it will add fuel to your fire. And once Jupiter enters Gemini on May 25th, your words could spread across an entire galaxy. This is like leaps and bounds. As Jupiter spends the rest of the year in your communication sector, you may find yourself writing something powerful, starting a life changing conversation, and making tons of new connections. By the end of the year, you'll be gearing up for a powerful transformation. September 17th, yes, this is the Emperor card, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
September 17th, yeah, September 17th, a lunar eclipse in Pisces will lay the groundwork for a metamorphosis in your eighth house of intimacy and investments. You may have to let go of something you never wanted part ways with, but in order to create space for something even more important. So be ready to create that space. On October 2nd, a solar eclipse in Libra will burn away the past in your seventh house of partnerships. So you may be parting with someone at the same time as you begin a relationship with someone else. The most challenging part of 2024 could take place during its final weeks as Mars, your ruling planet, stations retrograde in your fifth house of fun, pleasure, and sexuality on December 6th. This could infringe on your inspiration, at least at first. However, it will ultimately allow you to reconnect with what gets your mojo going in an exciting and even more meaningful way. In other words, step into the role you were born to play.
All right. Excellent. I'll
And that was
remember
the
that because I'm the
emperor.
Aries here. Emperor. And remember,
Yes,
that's your
yes,
card, Aries. Okay.
yes.
All right. Taurus. You are the Nine of Cups. Okay. See that? Take a really good look at your Nine of Cups and see what it has in store for you. So 2024 is marked by prosperity and abundance, but especially for you, Taurians. After all, the Nine of Cups signifies happiness, emotional fulfillment, and contentment. Some of people consider it the wish card, which means that 2024 could very well be the year that all your wildest hopes and dreams come true.
Mhm.
During this year, you will have everything you need in terms of love, work, relationships, lifestyle. Your health will get better, and most definitely your wealth. Okay. And if you're still having doubts, let the Nine of Cups be proof that all of your efforts are paying off. Okay. And the universe is returning that favor. This year, you may very well be coming into eminence because your Taurus horoscope for 24 is primed for stardom. You're also tapping into your ability to take control of over your career, your image, and your level of authority, both in and out of work. Okay. And your horoscope says you might undergo a total personality shift. You're growing up, and so you're coming into who you are because you were born during this era. You're destined to not only succeed at your chosen field, but transform it altogether. You'll begin to get a sense of what you'll accomplish after transformative Pluto in Aquarius reactivates your 10th house of publicity from January 20th to September 1st, all the way through, as well as after November 19th, which will drive you to project a personal brand that exudes power. Whether it's proving everyone who ever doubted you wrong or simply fulfilling a dream you've had since you were a child, you're tapping into what motivates you to win. However, before you start making waves, you may need to heal and let go of all the fears and negative mindsets that sabotages you once the North Node of Destiny joins forces with Chiron in your 12th house of subconscious programming on February 19th. So look out for that, okay? By the time a lunar eclipse in Libra rises in your 6th house of work and health on March 25th, you'll plan you will put a plan in place that helps you practice your craft and maintain your self-care in a way that leads you to great success. You may even get a new pet or familiar that acts as a loving companion throughout your day-to-day life,
Mm.
as the 6th house also rules over service animals. However, when a total solar eclipse casts a shadow over your spiritual 12th house on April 8th, and we all know that's going to be a really big one, you'll experience a shift that unfolds deep within, a shift that may activate your psychic abilities and allow you to forgive yourself for all the unrealistic standards you failed to meet. They're just unrealistic, and no one necessarily can live up to that. The most exciting moment of 2024
Mm.
arrives on April 20th when Jupiter joins forces with Uranus in Taurus, bringing luck, prosperity,
Mm.
and innovation to your first house of the self. This could lead to a total personality shift, prompting you to embrace changes in your appearance and identity. People who have known you for years may notice that you're suddenly acting different, but that's only because you're embracing your true self. And if they don't like it, there's a good chance it's because you're no longer bowing to their expectations. You're not living for them, you're living for you now. Venus, your ruling planet, enters Taurus on April 29th, where it will increase your desire to treat yourself, take care of yourself, and make yourself feel most glamorous. Okay. After you've embraced the new and improved you, Jupiter enters your 2nd house of finances and self worth. And that happens on May 25th, where it will attract abundance and strengthen your bank account for the remainder of the year 2024.
Mm.
So I want you to take advantage of this energy by doing money spells and raking in that extra dough that you can at that time. Okay. Don't forget that date. Okay. I think I said May 25th, right? Did I say that?
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
I did.
Yes.
So don't forget that.
Yes.
On September 17th, a lunar eclipse in Pisces rises in your 11th house of community, hopes, and dreams, which could jumpstart a meteoric rise to notoriety. Not only are you making all the right connections, but positioning yourself to create the world you've always wanted to live in. A solar eclipse in Libra will land you in your heavy lifting sixth house on October 6th, making you realize that you have to work a bit harder to get where you want to be, but that's okay, you're up to it. As the year comes to a close, you may run into conflicts at home as aggressive Mars retrogrades through your fourth house of family and ancestral roots beginning December 6th. This will force you to fix any broken parts of your dwelling and declutter it. But it will also encourage you to finally have it out with that relative, you the one that you've been holding a grudge against for centuries. You're gonna let it all out in a
Love it.
constructive way, of course, because it's the only way you'll be able to strengthen your sense of security and comfort for the long haul. You'll be making waves like none other this year. All right.
Mhm. Right on, right on. So, Gemini, your card for the year is the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups.
Yay!
Fabulous, fabulous card. In 2024, you are literally mother. That's right. The Queen of Cups signifies that you're stepping into your role as a lover, a nurturer, and an intuitive healer, but only in the most esteemed sense. This year, you're becoming someone that others lean on for support in its most tender and heartfelt form. If you've always been avoidant or resistant to forming emotional ties, 2024 will be the year your heart strengthens its roots and sustains those around you in a mutually beneficial exchange. The Queen of Cups wants to be there for others because it teaches her how to be there for herself. So, Gemini, your 2024 horoscope says this is your lucky year thanks to Jupiter. You're making major strides this year, and your Gemini 2024 horoscope is proof that you're becoming a bigger and better version of yourself. You'll feel the sparkling shift immediately as Mercury, your ruling planet, as of this past January 1st, is no longer retrograding, paving the way for you to jump right into those New Year's resolutions. You'll be exploring the great beyond this year thanks to Pluto, planet of creation and power, re entering Aquarius from January 20th to September 1st, and again on November 19th. In your ninth house of philosophy, adventure, and knowledge, you will tap into your desire to see and experience new things. On February 19th, the North Node of Destiny will join forces with Chiron, the wounded healer, in your 11th house of community and global impact, prompting you to influence the world in a positive and humanitarian way. A lunar eclipse in Libra provokes change in your 5th house of romance and self-expression on March 25th, prompting you to fall in love with an idea or an actual person. But the idea is that you're falling in love on that date. With a total solar eclipse in Aries soon to follow on April 8th, there's a good chance you may be joining forces with a new set of like minded individuals. Activating your 11th house of networking, 2024 may be the year you find yourself a new team or tribe. By June 2nd, you should prepare for a radical change in your subconscious mind and in your deepest psyche. As Jupiter joins forces with Uranus in your 12th house of underground thinking, you may find yourself processing your thoughts and emotions in a way you've never felt them before. This could even allow you to finally let go of some grudges and pains you've been holding on to, making you want to purge all the inhibiting energy from your being in Jupiter before, like the great benefic, as it enters Gemini on May 25th. Jupiter will attract love, abundance, prosperity, and growth in your first house of the self, amplifying your progress and landing you in the right place at the right time. Prepare for spontaneous and serendipitous encounters that puts you on track for great success. Prepare for a major change in your career and professional status. By fall, as around September 17th, a lunar eclipse in Pisces will spark momentum in your 10th house of publicity, which could lead to an abrupt shift in the way you brand yourself. Whether you're accepting a promotion or embracing a job change, this transformation has always been a part of your destiny. A solar eclipse in Libra lights a fire in your fifth house of creativity and self expression on October 2nd, and there's a good chance you may make your true passions the centerpiece of this career shift. The year will wrap up with Mars retrograding on December 6th, taking place in your third house of communication and informative exchanges. You may grow weary with notifications and conversations that need answering. Don't allow socializing to become a chore because this retrograde in particular, wants you to rediscover the passion intermingled with each and every interaction. So you'll be a magnet for love and abundance this
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
Right on.
yeah. So don't forget, next week we're gonna do Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Okay, at the next one.
Right on.
So time to
And
tell.
now, yeah.
All right, we are back. So I want you guys to remember the three tarot cards, right? The Emperor for Aries, the Nine of Cups for Taurus, and the Queen of Cups for Gemini. And that's the card that you're going to have. So take your card if it represents you, and that's going to be in the center, your center card, okay, where you are presently. And I want you to shuffle your deck, and what you're pulling is a card that's going to represent what 2023, what you're leaving behind. And the next card that you pull will be the card for what will be ahead for you in 2024. All right, so shuffle that deck with that in mind. And let's see what you got. Okay. Rhonda, were
What
you any of
card
the
did I
cards
get?
what were you none of? Okay, so you're none of
No,
them. Okay,
I'm
so
not.
pick one of them and do it for them.
I'm just gonna pick a card. I'm just gonna pick a
Yes.
card. And
A
I'm like
card,
picking
yes.
a card. And my card is, well, it's a great card actually. It's the 6 of Pentacles. I mean, it's a I'm a sun Scorpio, sun and moon Scorpio. So I have a lot of water in my sign, but we'll get to that in some later date. 6 of
Yes.
Pentacles, earth energy, Pentacles, and this particular card has a lot to do with finding um making certain that this card reminds me that there's always a level of imbalance and I need to figure out where my resources are coming from and how I am either accepting the assistance or support of others or if I am in a position of giving support to others. This is a card that reminds me to find the right balance and to make certain that I am doing taking full advantage of my resources in a way that is in my best interest, that is not overextending myself, and that if I can help others, that I am indeed doing exactly that. So I'm
Awesome.
going to take
Awesome.
that as a quick message for this coming
Okay.
year.
So for me, since I'm Aries, my card for 2023 was the Ace of Cups. And if you look at it, it's so interesting as you were saying what that card represents to you. That's what it felt like to me with this one. That it
Mm,
offered me a lot of beatific things, a lot of, amazing things, but it was all like very overflowing and overwhelming in some ways. And I have to kind of learn to decide which one's best for me, and to take like out of all of those things and kind of go, okay, start making up what I'm going to do of the ones that I have that's overflowing, so that way I don't feel so overwhelmed by it. And
Mm,
it's so funny
mhm.
because I'm coming into things that I'm like, okay, so I'm going to continue with the next one. So that one is a little bit of overwhelming and stuff. And where I am presently, that emperor, remember we were talking about the emperor for Aries,
Yes,
and a lot of things that we have
yes.
and coming into our own. And there's a lot that's happening right now that I feel is just gonna branch out and help me control that overwhelming things. And that's where I am right now.
Ooh,
And it's begun. It's begun already. And I'm like,
fabulous. Yes,
yay.
fabulous. That emperor will certainly give you control of
Yeah,
things.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's exactly
Whoa.
what it is that's happening. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So it's and
Right
so
on.
for 2024, again, I've got the 10 of Wands. And
Mm,
again, it may seem burdensome, but it's something that I need to do. And I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to actually sit down, and I started putting pen to paper and writing the book. And I'm going to do things. I've already figured out content and all of that
fabulous.
and how I'm going to make it work.
Oh,
So it's,
about
it's been
time.
it's been too long, and I've been saying I
Too many
started it, and then I
voices.
haven't started putting it more concise, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. So that's
Right
one of my
on.
many overwhelming things that I'm trying to take control of. But the other main part would help me to get to that. So I think
Yes,
it's all setting into place for me already. Um, so yeah, I'm most happy
that is
with what's
awesome.
coming next. Awesome, awesome.
That is
Okay,
awesome.
so
And it's so interesting. I'm just yeah, no, never mind. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, no. I was just gonna say I'm gonna have you go from here and tell us what's coming for next week.
So what's coming up next week we have Edward Sott coming back. So he was on our panel. He's
Yes,
coming back.
yes,
So it's going to be just Edward. We'll have a full show with him coming up next Friday. So do join us on February 9th. Is that right?
yes.
Yes,
I
February
know
9th.
we're
Oh my
already
gosh.
there, right?
I
Oh my
can't.
God,
It's
it's
blowing my
like going
mind.
so fast. Where's
Yes,
the year going already? We just began.
I know. I know.
It has
This was I
begun.
have to just say this. I have to say this. We just celebrated in bulk, right? Here
Yes,
we are.
yes, yes,
So we're just wrapping up in bulk, if you will. And I had to remind myself at this point in the year, I'm itching for the buds on the trees. I'm itching for the ground to be soft and the plants to start growing. I'm still not learning the lesson. Sit where you're at. We're still in winter.
yes,
Embrace the lessons of winter.
yes.
And where I'm at is this is quickening, but I need to just embrace this slowdown. It'll be fast and furious before we know it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
And
is.
we'll be exhausted because we'll be running
Yeah.
like little. So, so
So
anyway,
we wanted to thank
yes.
Laura Perry for being with us tonight, and
Thank you,
everyone who is
Laura.
in the chat. And Laura, again, thank you very much. And anyone that's in the chat, again, thank you so much. And Rhonda,
Yes, like, subscribe, and share. Please do share. And again, I'm going to say it because it's just wonky. Early in the show that my connectivity was, I don't know why, but now, of course, it's fine. So I
it's
don't know
fine
what's
now,
happening.
right? All right. So see you all
Don't
next
get it.
week.
But anyway, have a
Thank
great
you.
week, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Yes.